All right, we're recording. This is Ignite Spark 7, Find and Win the Buyer. So we've done 7 sessions. Give me your feedback. How is it going? How has Ignite been for you? Let's hear that. Let's hear some good news first.
Ignite was great for me. It has helped me realize the importance of, like you said, building my contacts and talking to my contacts and just checking on people.
Yeah. You know, you guys, well, maybe you do, Tiffany. You did the old Ignite. This is a lot, right? This is a lot better. And I really enjoy how it's incorporating the tech, because the old Ignite, we had the new tech, the materials kind of led you a different way. But now that it's so up to date, it literally has, like, you know, on the instructor side where I'm to go in and show you guys these different things. And that's really neat too, because it's theory and it's applicable, you know. Somebody else tell me, what's Ignite been for you? How's it going? What'd you learn so far?
For me, organization, I think it really helps you to like hone in on what you should be working on now.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything it's been really good as far as like keeping me organized and on track and what I should be doing right now. So
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So today we're going to talk about the buyer. Let me pull up my PowerPoint and make sure that you guys can see it. When all these buttons start popping up, you guys, it's kind of crazy. You can hardly see what you're doing. All right. Do you guys see the PowerPoint?
yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good deal. Good. All right. So here is the model and the new format for Ignite. It's broken into 2 sections: Spark, which is the hows and whys of the lead gen, and then the elementals, and to get you the business basics. So the elementals are the practical things that you're going to do to build the business. We've got 2 more sessions in Ignite. We're going to do working with sellers on Monday, and then Tuesday we'll do a day in the life of an agent. So we have got that lined up to finish up, and then we'll begin the elementals portion of it. All right. So we've talked about this over and over and over again. I love this table. What do successful agents do every day? Tell me about it, guys. What do they do every day?
Lead generate.
Grow, run their business.
Run their business and grow their business. Grow their business and run their business. And those of you that have been in the business a while, you can see how you get kind of in this run the business column and you forget to grow the business, but they go hand in hand, and it's 2 separate types of activities. And honestly, the experienced, seasoned agents and the top producers, sometimes they get in that rut of run the business and forget to grow the business. But we know Gary Keller says, no, today business is more important than tomorrow business. So that's why it's so important. Our goal in our time here is to model what successful agents do so that you guys can also do that and apply it to your life. What we're going to focus on today is the grow side. Lead generate for buyers and sellers. These are the skills we're going to focus on. So you need to understand the importance of your database, which we've been talking about, and how to take advantage of your sphere. We've also been talking about that. So it allows you to launch into new leads and to run your business. And so that's how you start there. And that's why we focus on your sphere. So find and win the buyer. I think let's skip one. Let's see. Here we go. Find the buyer. So we're going to talk about cultivating buyer leads, qualifying buyer leads, and signing the buyer agreement. And then we're going to talk about our the daily success habits of building your database, script practicing, lead generation, and contract practice. All right, guys. Before we can learn how to handle leads, we need to figure out about the buyers. So this is from the 2019 NAR profile of home buyers and sellers. It states that 89% of buyers purchase their home through a real estate agent. That's good news for you. 41% of buyers found their agent through a referral from friends and family. 75% of buyers interviewed only one real estate agent during the home search. And 51% of buyers visited an open house as a way to search for homes. Taking these statistics into consideration, what do you think about where you want to begin looking for buyers?
Open houses.
Okay, open houses.
And make sure that nobody you know forgets that you're a realtor.
Ding, 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 right? Also, when talking about that, I heard this recently, maybe on a shift call, where honestly, you know, when we first get into the business, or even when we get in the business, we get this like limiting belief that we don't want to come off as a used car salesman or pushy sales type person, even though we're salespeople. And yet, if we don't reach out to our people like we've been talking about doing, then we are that person, because we don't care about them. We care about what they do for us. So in this time, in this circumstance, with this virus, and with you know, everybody being, you know, self-quarantined, shelter in place, it is if we're not going to be that selfish person, we need to reach out and care about our people. And then because we, you know, do that, then they remember who we are, they remember that we're realtors, and they remember that we care. Because look at this one. 75% of buyers interview only one real estate agent during their home search. So if you're not touching your people, and you're not calling and reminding them that you care, and seeing how you help, and becoming top of mind for them to then refer you business, then who are all their family and friends going to go to? Any old Joe Blow that pops up. And we cannot guarantee, Rebecca, you've been in the business a long time, does every realtor you know conduct business in the way that you conduct business?
No.
Right. So we want to, out of consideration, let everybody know, because we don't want somebody to fall into the hands of an unskilled, untrained, unethical person. If they're only going to interview one person, we want them to at least speak to us, right?
Right.
I have to let people in, you guys, and the little box just popped up. Sorry. Okay. So we want to be sure that those 75% of buyers are interviewing an agent that's a good agent. And why shouldn't you be that person? That's odds are in your favor, right? So we want to be doing our care calls. We want to talk to, we want to get those referrals, and we want to be the person they think about and that they refer people to, because when they're referring someone, the odds are that person's only going to meet with one person and sign an agreement. So you want them to end up in hands of a good person, which is us, right? All right, so what can you add to your success list based on this information? What can we make sure we're doing every day to grow our business from this list? We just talked about it.
Calls, making the calls.
Calling your people, calling your sphere.
Like connecting with your sphere.
Making sure they know.
Yeah, touching your people. That's why you want to make sure that you have the touch plan, right? You don't want to forget also to follow up with every buyer lead, and you want to take a moment, and that's why we say call, put them in your database, and send a note. That note is that second personal touch, and it goes towards your amount of touches to connect with them, because a written note goes a long way. And we want to remind you guys that your number one job is lead generation, and you're lead generating through your sphere, right? It's not just purchasing leads. It's not just cold calls. This is going to be your greatest return, is connecting with your sphere. All right, now we're going to learn how to cultivate buyer leads. All right, what is this? What is this little table over here?
Funnel.
It is the lead generation model. It is our funnel, right? So now that you've found a lead through your sphere, okay, you need to cultivate or nurture it. Cultivating the lead means you place them on an interactive and action-based touch program. Examples of these programs are found in SmartPlans and Command. For an example, when you contact a record in Command, under the SmartPlans menu, you click Add the SmartPlan button, and if you've just begun having conversations with someone that you've added to your database, you can add them to the 8x8 engagement. And so that's 8 touches in 8 weeks. Or if they express an interest in a specific neighborhood, you just add them to the neighborhood nurture. And so we all know, what is a smart plan we need to put everybody on immediately, every person we have in our database.
Oh.
The quarterly calls, okay? And you can do that for every person, but here's what I want to tell you about that. In Command, if you go through and click every person in your database as a quarterly call on the same day 3 months from now, it's going to pop up all 300 people. So you want to take a look at your database, what's the number of that, and then divide that by, so that when you do your weekly calls, you'll have a good, you want to spread them out so you're not calling 400 people in a day. That's impossible. Set yourself up for success so that it will remind you every 3 months how often you should be calling somebody. And since every 3 months something is changing, the seasons are going on, you always have a conversation to have with somebody. That is the easiest and best use. Everyone you have a conversation with can be added to a smart plan. You just need to listen to their needs. First is the quarterly call. That's everybody, okay? And then you figure out what's appropriate for them based on what they tell you. This will trigger a series of events that gets you into a further relationship with that contact and helps cultivate it to an appointment. The tasks range from text message to phone calls to emails, all of that encompassed in these smart plans. So have you guys played with the smart plans? Those of you that are with KW and in Command, have you played with it? Let me hear some of your thoughts about it.
I have. I wish there was already a smart plan for 36 touch or something like that. Right now, I think
There is.
I thought it
all
was
of those.
chopped up
So you
too.
put them on different ones, and that adds the 36 up.
Yeah, so that's what I had to do. So I had to do that, and what I'm working on now is I have to set up the Twilio for texting because, and I like that you can change the script. It gives you a script, but it also allows you to add in your messaging.
Right.
And another great thing that I like is that you can actually create your own plan. So if you have Facebook leads and things like that. So I like that. I haven't done it yet, but I do like that feature.
And I get what you were saying about the 36. So what you would want to do for everybody, kind of a blanket call, then text, then whatever. And the beauty of it is now that it's customizable. At first they wanted to make sure everybody had it in there and it could just be separate things. So you could choose maybe this or that or the other. Now that it's customizable, they will be having people do exactly what you're talking about, and then you can kind of use what they have. So you would just go into the library and choose one you like and then pick it for your people. And the beautiful thing about that is, I don't know how much experience you guys have with a CRM, but a lot of CRMs don't have the ability to customize anything. You just have to use it how they have it. And so they are phasing in new things all the time, but I think it's wonderful. And I honestly, they have it for single agents first, but they started allowing the market center for recruits and growth to use that. And it's been awesome the more I explore it, seeing that. Because, I mean, Rebecca, how awesome is a reminder that you need to do something, you want to, but you get scrambled in doing sometimes, and you're like, oh gosh, I forgot to do this, that, and the other. So those smart plans help you remember to do all of that. Okay, so let me show you guys. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to find that. Bear with me as I'm switching screens and all of the things. Let's see. Stop share. All right, can you guys see my command screen? Okay, so, hello. My mouse is acting funny. Let's see. Okay, here is the SmartPlan. The SmartPlan is the little paper with the little wheel, little gear shift. And you can go, as you can see mine here, I haven't played with them a lot. Again, this is my personal one. I have two because we have a market center one and then we have the personal one. So you can see a real quick dashboard of how many people you have on each SmartPlan, and it allows you to go in and delete, edit, and all of that stuff. They also have the categories for the referrals, and we talked about how to see a referral, where they're going in and out. And you guys, that's something you guys can do, is start lead generating for referrals. Opportunity plans, that is going to be opening up to allow you to, as you're having someone walk through a transaction, as maybe you move their card from appointment to active, it can send them a touch saying, this is the next step. So it's kind of, that's being built out right now. So here's the library, and every day there's new things, but you can look through these and see the steps. You can promote your app. Guys, that's a great one you guys could be doing right now. If you don't have, a lot of listings or business or anything, promote that, get people, you want to get them into your database, and it gives scripts. Even if you're not connected to Twilio, like Tiffany and I were talking about, you can manually send the script out. Okay. Each one of these, long-term nurture, it tells you how many, 10 days, then you call them, and then you have a touch interactive, you send an email or some sort of thing, and then you send a text. Oh my gosh, look at all these scripts that popped up. I mean, never will you wonder, what should I say, right?
Can you customize those scripts to kind of make sure they sound like you?
Right. So exactly. You can do that. And that's so you can either do one of two things, Rebecca. You can integrate this Twilio system to it. And that's a separate purchase. That's a subscription you do. If you choose to do that, it will sync up with Command and send them out. But like Tiffany was saying, you can add things or edit it, each text. And then you can actually send texts outside of the SmartPlan. So if you just wanted to send like a text reminder for a client event that was not part of a SmartPlan, but just something else, you can do that. Now they do different charges, and I haven't spent a lot of time exploring that. That's on my list to explore. Yet you can manually, and it will just send you a reminder. If you don't have the service connected, it will send you a task to say, text Bobby Jean, whoever it is, so that you then remember to text them. And you can either use the script that they've just given you a point of, where to start.
Right.
So in all of this, it shows you how many touches, how long it goes, how many steps, so that you can make sure your people are touched effectively. And I think we've talked before about Amazon, right? The reason Amazon, you get a notification from them when there's something in your cart, when you've purchased something, they want a survey, they want all this stuff. They're training us how to respond to them for what works for them. And in a lot of ways, that's what we're doing. And we're talking about buyers. In a lot of ways, especially first-time home buyers, you're training them in the right way things are done and to be most efficient. Because, what did we talk about where the priorities for buyers and sellers? What are the things it's our priority? Come on, somebody. For a buyer, it's what?
Sell it or finding them a home at the
The best price.
best price, least amount of problems.
Right.
all that.
Finding them a home in the quickest amount of time at the best price, with the least amount of problems. And for the sellers, we're doing the same thing. You know, selling their home in the quickest amount of time for the most money they can make with the least problems. And in these smart plans and things like that, that helps you, you know, touching people and doing all that. You're getting them down in that funnel and you're training them on how you want to be in business. Can you guys see my screen now?
No.
Nope.
Oh, goodness.
We're
And
almost
Katie,
ready.
for the smart plans as well, do you think we should set everyone up on a smart plan at maybe so many at a time as well? Or
Well, with it depends on the smart plan. Let's see. Screen has failed to start. Let's try it again. Sorry, I will answer your question. Just one moment. You know, technology. There's just so many things. Okay. Here we go. Share. Now do you see it?
yes.
Perfect. Okay. To your question, Tiffany. So depending on the smart plan. So the one thing you can go ahead and put everybody on immediately is the quarterly call. Now you're going to want to space that out. The neighborhood nurture can go out for everybody at the same day of the same month. Yet what you're going to need for the neighborhood nurture is you're only going to be able to do that for the people that you have neighborhoods on.
Gotcha.
So as you're calling right now, you're getting that information when you're checking in with them and you're asking them about how things are going, X, Y, Z, and they're giving you more information. You don't have to outright necessarily go, what neighborhood do you live in? Yet you can, right? It just depends on the approach. When you're starting with your sphere, you can just start the conversation of, hey, we've got this new amazing technology where I can send you neighborhood information monthly, and it gives you the ability to search anywhere in the nation. Is that something that's interesting to you? And they say, yes. Okay, remind me what neighborhood you live in right now. That you putting that in, you know, as you're putting that in, then you send the neighborhood. But you can't send a neighborhood nurture without the neighborhood. So that's a step. When you go onto your command dashboard, it'll show you at the bottom your database health score, and it'll show you how many people you have neighborhoods for. Right. If that's going to be if that's something you're going to do and you need to, that needs to be your lead generation tactic. So that every day you're going to get as many neighborhoods as you can and update as much information in command as you can. Then you can put more people on more plans.
Gotcha. Okay. So I need their neighborhood and I guess their email address, right? So they can.
So you're filling in as much information as you can, then you're putting them on smart plans.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So does everybody feel confident in where they can find a smart plan and what that looks like? Yeah. Okay. So do you have any questions about smart plans? And Tiffany, that was a great question. Excuse me, had to sneeze and hand sanitize. All right, so then also inside of command and smart plans and all that, there's always going to be a little icon that if you want further information, you have questions about it, it will either point you to articles or little videos that people are using. So what are your ahas about smart plans before we move on to the next topic?
My aha is that it's already there. It's just click and bait for us. We just click it and send it out.
Yeah.
Nothing that I have to come up with. I don't have to do anything but just click it and it'll happen.
But you have
other than the call.
Right. You have to sit down, and guys, right now is the time that y'all are being intentional about building this, because once you put that foundation, just like we're talking about all of these other tactics, once you have this foundation, then there's room for huge growth. But if you miss this step and this time, then you're going to you may or may not have growth. But if you do have growth, the danger is you're not going to have the good foundation underneath you. and you're going to be scrambling. So you want to make sure that you are following in with, you know, what we're talking about here. It's taking time, and now we've got it, right? Having the conversations, filling in the blanks, right? We're doing more than just calling. All right, so now we're going to talk about qualifying your buyer leads. So you can have after you have a conversation with the buyer, we're going to use the buyer lead sheet, and this is a tool in the Ignite toolbook. It's just a questionnaire, and we will talk about that. If you do not have the Ignite toolkit, email me and we'll make sure that we get that over to you. For KW agents, it's in the same Google file with the Ignite materials. So there's that. So we want to classify our buyers using this sheet. When you're doing you'll do the buyer lead sheet when you do the buyer consultation. And that needs to be a specific appointment where all you talk about is the questions on this sheet. Okay, and you want to have the sheet, guys. I know people want to be paperless, and you can do it on Google Drive, whatever. You just want to keep the questions in front of you so that you can see the answers. And if I were you, I would put it in my command files just so I can keep it on file with that person, because we want to keep people for forever clients. So we want to come back to them again, and this can have some pertinent information. I know from experience, I can take notes and things on a client and then put it in a file somewhere, and it's like never to be seen again. The beauty of this technology is the next time that person comes around, it's with their contact card. So it'll all be right there. All right, so we want to qualify people as A, B, and C buyers. What is A?
Able, ready, and willing to purchase.
All right, what is B?
Able and ready, but not right now.
All right, what is C?
Not ready.
You can also call these people looky-loos. Looky-loos. And the beautiful thing about COVID right now is there's not a lot of looky-loos. Would you agree with me, Vicki Wadsworth?
Yes, I will.
And honestly, you know, I don't know if you guys know the secret, but we as realtors don't get paid till there's a closing. And so we can't show houses for a living. We don't work for unless we work for HGTV, and I don't. So, you know, I don't know about you guys. So I don't get paid to do that. All right. So the A buyers, they're ready, able, ready, and willing. Okay. That means they can be under contract in a matter of weeks. And this is the one thing from pre-license that needs to stick with you. Ready, willing, and able. What does able mean?
Financially able to get a mortgage and pay appraisal and home inspection and anything else that needs to come up.
They are financially able.
Yes.
You can't buy homes on wishes. That's what happened in 2008.
Katie, can I say something?
Go ahead.
I think right now, if somebody call you at this time, they're going to be A's. I'll say 9 out of 10 might be a B, but if they're calling you right now with all this that's going on, they're probably going to be A's.
I'll agree with that. Sorry, you guys, when I shut my door, my office becomes an inferno. I'll agree with that. And you want to make sure it's our responsibility as professionals to make sure they're an A. And people that you get that are B's, those are great. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're able and ready, but they're not willing. And maybe they don't have, that's the lack. When you're not willing, you don't have the motivation, and that's okay. But you want to make sure that you're keeping them in your database and you're remembering that. Because the last thing you want to see is, you know, a year from now, they pop up and they have just sold with somebody else or bought with somebody else. You want to make sure that you maintain that relationship. Now, C, we call them looky-loos. They have no immediate need. They have no motivation. They may not be financially able. They're kind of like, they don't know where they are. And that's okay too. Not everybody is going to be an A or a B. It's important for you though, for your business, that you have, what do you need to run your business? A, B, or C? A. You cannot sell on B and you cannot sell on C. You need A. So we have to qualify everyone. And this is just a simple way to do that. You can even tag them in command as A, B, and C after the buyer consultation. So what are we doing in these stages to nurture the lead?
Touching
them through.
Asking the right questions.
Yeah. Well, we can't touch them and nurture them effectively and cultivate it if we don't know where they're at. Right? It's frustrating. You end up in the hamster wheel. So through that, you put them on the smart plans, you put them on the calls, so you can follow up. If a B is not willing right now, they will be though, because they're already able, right? It's just like in the motivation. So when that time comes, you want to be the person they're having the conversation with. So you want to make sure that you're still talking to them and nurturing them. That's a perfect example of somebody that to put on a neighborhood nurture, because not only do they, want to buy somewhere, if they're in a case where they also want to sell, you want to send them their current neighborhood and the neighborhood they want to move into so they can watch the market. And they're not, again, getting misinformed by any Joe Blow or any technology company pretending they care about people and selling real estate, right? You want to be that confident, that person that they call. Let's talk about this lead sheet. All right, so you can, again, download the lead sheet from the toolkit. This is what it looks like. You have the top, the date, the lead source, and the property that prompted the call. So why is it important that second line is there, the lead source?
That gives you an idea of what they're looking for.
Well, it gives you an idea of what they're looking for, but it also gives you an idea of where they came from.
right.
So if somebody says, my cousin Tiffany told me to call you, honey, you need to know that Tiffany's giving you referrals. So you can go back and, one, thank her and maintain that relationship. And two, you want to know that your sphere, if you're doing, especially if you're buying leads, guys, you need to know that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a 2.5 return on every dollar you're spending. So that's the same with leads. If you got a lead service company that's giving you leads and every morning you wake up and you got Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all kinds of crazy mess in your email to call, those are not viable leads and you're wasting your money.
Sure.
So we want to know where our leads are coming from so we can track it. All right. And then also the property, because if they're calling on a specific property, again, that's going to tell you kind of what they're looking for. On it has contact information. I love the question, what's the best way to get in touch with you? Because we don't all communicate the same way. And so you want to be able to be sure that you're talking to them how they want and when they want. That's just effective communication. Let's see. The next one goes to the buyer consultation questions. And since you guys do not have this in front of you guys, I'm going to read it over. 1, has an agent taken you out and shown you any properties? Yes or no? Why is that an important question to ask?
So you know if they're already working with an agent.
Mhm.
Who on this call has worked with somebody that was already working with an agent, but you didn't find out till late? Right? So let's go ahead and knock that one on out, right? And then you explain to them before you spend time thinking that they're an A lead, because they're not an A lead if they're working with somebody else. And you don't want to untangle that mess, trust me. Okay. If yes, how's it going? So if they say yes, you go into further questions around, do you have a buyer agreement signed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You need to know that information. If they say no, they're free game, right? Number 2, is there anyone else buying the home with you? Why is that important?
You don't want to get to the final walkthrough to have somebody show up and, oh, that bathroom's too small. I don't like this layout. You're paying too much money. I mean, the list is endless of what.
Yeah. The list is endless. You need to know the decision makers.
Mm-hmm.
This is important because not only does it happen and can happen at the end where maybe they're not on the documents, they're not on the closing, whatever, and that can put everything to a screeching halt or stop it altogether. But also when you have, people that are very connected to their family, which is great. I too am connected with mine, but you can get on these showings and there'll be 5+ people. You want to narrow it down because you don't need all of that. You're the expert and they're the buyer, right? They're the client. So you want to have clear communication and know who the decision makers are, and know who the pertinent people you need to be speaking with are. 3, who will be living in your home? Why is that important?
That's important so you know basically what it is that they're looking for.
Yeah.
The size.
Because guys, they'll say, I need a 3-bed, 2-bath, blah, 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 blah. And you're just, searching. And then come to find out they got the mother-in-law living with them and they need a mother-in-law suite or a guest house, or husband needs a workshop and he works out of home. You need to know all of that. You have to know all of that if you're going to meet and exceed the expectations. Because again, what do we want? We want to buy on their timeline for the least amount of money when the least amount of problems. This gets those conversations out of the way. You don't want surprises later. How long have you been looking for a home? Why is that important?
To see what stage they're in. If they're just now starting or if they've been looking, and because if they've been looking for a while, maybe they just haven't had good experience with prior realtors.
Well, yes, and they may just be, we want a what? An A. Mm-hmm. So they may be all day in the B column. If they've been looking for 3 years, guys, come on. You need to know this stuff. And not saying you're not going to work with them, yet you're putting together a profile.
If they've been looking for 3 years and they're considered to be a B, I'm moving them to a C.
Very good.
If they've been looking that long.
Right. Especially in the recent market where everything's been good. All right. Number 6 on the lead sheet. Are you renting now or do you own? We need to know that, right? Renter, yes. When is your lease up? Okay. If you're an owner, do you need to sell your current home? And you guys don't have to write these down. They're in that packet. So we'll make sure you get that. I don't want you to have to take notes by all means. But if yes, who signed the listing agreement with the real estate agent to sell your home? Why is that important? Going back to the decision maker. Who's the decision maker? It may not be you. All right. If no, when would be a good time for us to get together so I can give you a free market analysis on your home? So we're qualifying the buyer, but they could also become the seller, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we want. Are you going to be paying cash or will you be getting a mortgage for the purchase of your home? If they're getting a mortgage, have you already been pre-approved? Yes or no? Who are you working with? Do you need a recommendation? If no, what is the amount you're pre-approved for? And what will your down payment be? Okay. Don't ask the question, what are you pre-approved for and what will your down payment be if they are not working with a lender? They don't know. They don't know. And if they were approved a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago,
it's not any good.
It is not viable. Okay. We want to make sure it is current and that they get it locked in, okay? And again, you're not the lender. You need to know and be a resource and be aware of what's going on, but you cannot speak to their financial situation. That is not your thing. Your thing is to sell them a home, find them a home, sell their home if they are ready, willing, and able, okay? All the other pre-ready, willing, and able, that's not you. You're a resource. This is your expertise, okay? All right, what price are you comfortable with after we've been pre-approved, guys? Remember, after we've been pre-approved. If they have not been pre-approved, you need to get on that quickly, okay? Make sure that happens. Because you know what? They can be a C all day, right? 9, is anyone else involved in your home buying decision? Why are we asking this again?
Decision makers.
Sometimes
And are they likely
forget.
to tell you the first time you ask? That's why they pop up at closing, right, Rebecca?
Mhm.
People be coming out of the woodworks to show up at closing day. That's not when you want to meet
Anything you
people.
never heard about. I mean, all
Yeah.
sorts of crazy stuff comes up.
You don't want to meet Aunt Susie at closing table. Aunt Susie don't need to be at closing table for any reason, and you sure as heck don't want to find out she was supposed to be on the contract.
Right.
All right. 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning you must buy a home as quickly as possible, and 1 meaning you are not sure you'll really buy anything, how would you rate yourself? Anything less than a 10, what would it take for you to become a 10? What is this question narrowing down?
If they're really willing.
Motivation. Motivation. All right. 11, when do you need to be in your new home? Again, motivation. If they say July, June, January, whenever it is, okay, and what is important about June? What is important about February? Whatever they say, why is that important? And it's not a second line here, but you want to take a note and put this in their profile, because when you're going to have to keep coming back to this motivation. Okay? You're going to have to keep drawing them back to this motivation. All right, 12, I'd love to help you buy a home. In order to help you find a perfect home, all we need to do is set an appointment with all of the decision makers, so I can help you get to what you want in the time you want. What is a better time for us to meet? And you give them options. This is where your time block calendar comes in. So from 9 to 11, we're lead generating, and we are learning Ignite, and we're sharpening our skill set. So what time are you going to meet anybody on any day? After 11. After 11. If at all possible, go ahead and set that habit. Know your time block calendar and know when you are available. Give them availability, because if you start the practice of anytime somebody calls, you meet with them, what are you training them?
And get you whenever they want to.
You're training these people that you're available all the time. And it's not going to stop at the first appointment. It's going to go on throughout the whole relationship. All right. So what are your thoughts on this lead sheet?
I think it's really good, well structured, and help you to kind of know where your people are in their buying process, and even to know how serious they are.
And the reason we teach Ignite and the reason we go over and using these tools is because there's been a long line of realtors that didn't do it the right way.
Exactly.
And we want to make sure that you guys are empowered and set up to be as successful as possible with what you're doing, because there's a lot of there can be a lot of long days being a real estate agent, and we want to make it as simple and as easy and as few problems, just like for the clients, for you guys. And this creates that clarity, and it sets the expectation. You know where they're at, and they know where you're at, and you know how you can help them once you know what they need, right? Okay, so this helps you Qualify price, motivation, location, wants and needs, timeline, financing, and availability. The importance of using this tool is to avoid wasting time on leads that are not ready to buy. Leads that aren't ready should be qualified accordingly and put on the action-based follow-up plan, right? You got them on a different smart plan. You got your urgent people, your motivated people, you're filling them up first, okay? I think that this is a great tool, and you can always customize it, right? So you can always add to it. I just think this is a great point if you don't already have one. This needs to be the first step in qualifying a lead. All right, Vicki, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have good service?
I do.
Okay, this has
I changed my phone to it.
Oh, good. This has where we're supposed to role play for 10 minutes, but since all of you guys do not have this document in front of you right now, I'm going to just do a little quick role play with Vicki. Vicki, do you have this in front of you? Do you have the buyer lead sheet?
With your screen?
No, the buyer lead sheet.
No.
It's good. I'll be the agent and you be the lead. Okay?
Okay.
I have it.
Who has it?
Who? Shakira.
Carol.
Okay.
Shakira?
I have it on my phone.
Shakira, will you role play with Vicki?
Sure. Yes, you said, and we're doing the sheet that you just went over, correct?
Yes. Vicki is going to be the lead, and you're going to be the agent calling the lead, or the lead called you.
I should keep my mouth closed.
Ma'am?
Okay. I said, I should have kept my mouth closed.
I'll do it if you don't want to do it, but this is great practice. This is a safe place.
I want you to do it first. I'll let you do it first.
Okay. All right. Vicki, call me up.
Ring, ring.
Hello, this is Katie Woodard with KW Montgomery. How may I help you?
How you doing, Miss Katie? My name is Vicki. I am looking for an agent that can help me find a house. I want to be in the Deer Creek or the Sturbridge area. I really want a big house.
Oh, okay. Well, Vicki, thank you so much for calling me today. I would love to help you. Let me get my sheet real quick. I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you before I can help you find that big house that you want. Tell me one thing. How did you get my number today?
Well, the reason I called is because I saw one of your signs in a yard.
Okay.
Yeah, so I said, and it was in that area.
Awesome.
So I said, well, I'm gonna call Miss.
Well, thank you so much. Let me get some more information about you, Miss Vicki. Can you give me your email address?
Yes.
All right. Can you also give me your current street address if that's something you're comfortable with?
Yes, I live 123 Main Street.
Okay. Do you have any children that live at home? What's your family look like?
My family right now is just me and my husband, but we do spend a lot of time with the grandkids, and it's 4 of them, and the oldest is 13 and the youngest is 7.
Oh, that's awesome. I know you enjoy being a grandparent. And now give me your phone number if you don't mind, the best way to reach you.
My phone number is 123-456-7890.
Okay, for follow-up conversations, when is the best time to reach you for availability?
The best time to reach me, I'm a morning person, so I get up kind of early, so mornings will be fine.
All right, perfect. Okay, so real quick, so has an agent already taken you out and shown you any properties?
No.
Okay. Is there anybody else, like your husband? Is he in on the home buying process with you?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And we talked about who's going to be living in your home, and that's just you and your husband, and you want room for the grandkids, correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
How long have you been looking to purchase a home?
Actually, I just got pre-approved with Gill Mortgage, and we know we are ready to go. I knew to get that done first because I wanted to know how much of a house that I qualified for. I didn't want to waste your time. This is not my first home buying. So I know I needed to know what I qualified for first before we go out looking. So I didn't look in the wrong areas, like looking too high or too low. So I know we can spend $250,000.
Well, that is awesome, Vicki. Way to go. I love that. You are a pro. So I'm curious, why are you looking to move from your current place?
The house we have now,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little smaller. We didn't have as many grandkids
Mm-hmm.
when actually when I got married. My husband already had the house that we're moving from, so we need a little bit more room for the grandkids.
Perfect. So your husband owns the home you guys currently live in, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, if do you need to sell this home to move to your new home?
Right now we're considering renting it out, but if anything changed, because that's not set in stone,
Right.
I'll let you know, but we can buy without selling that one.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, I do have relationship with a lot of property management companies here in town, so I'll be happy to, when we get to that point, I'll be happy to share their contact information with you. Now,
Okay.
on your qualification, are you paying cash or are you getting a mortgage?
We're getting a mortgage.
Okay, awesome. And you said that you're working with Guild. They are phenomenal. I know that you will enjoy that relationship with them. And you're comfortable, again, you're approved for $250,000. Are you comfortable with that amount?
We are approved for more, but we don't want to go past
Okay.
250.
And you know your down payment amount, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. That is great. Again, your husband is going to be involved in the home buying decision, correct?
Well, the thing is, I'm kind of doing a lot of the footwork because it's not a lot of things that he really have to have.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of let me lead things. Nevertheless, he is the one that qualified for the mortgage.
Awesome. Okay. So, real quick, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning you must buy a home as quickly as possible, and 1 meaning you are not sure you're really going to buy anything, how are you going to rate yourself?
10.
Perfect. I love to hear that, Vicki. So, when do you need to be in this new home that we're talking about?
I would like to be in it. I know the process can be, I'll say probably about 30 days or a little more sometime, depending on how soon we might be able to find something.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to have found something and closing within 30 to 45 days if possible.
Okay. And so we're looking at May or June. Now, what is the reason that you're wanting to move May or June? Is there a reason behind that?
No, it's no specifics for those months. We just are ready and just ready to move on with the process to go on
I
and
love that.
be in our new home.
Yeah, and there'll be no reason that I foresee, based on what we've talked about today, that being a problem. I really think that based on what we've talked about, that will be a great probability of getting you in a home in May or June. Now, I would love to meet and introduce myself and talk with your husband. Is there a time, maybe Monday next week at 2 or Tuesday at 4, that we can schedule a Zoom conversation where I can talk to him a little bit and we can all talk together, and we can either I can even pull you up some listings?
2 would be better for him because he has to be at work like
Yeah,
3:30.
I would love that.
4 o'clock.
I'm going to, you gave me your email address, and what I'm going to do is send you both a calendar invite with the Zoom link on there, and we'll just have a conversation and get to know each other a little bit better, and then we'll begin this search in earnest. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we get this going as quickly as possible to get you guys in that home that you're looking for. Does that sound good to you?
That sounds good. Miss Katie, now you asked me quite a few questions in reference to my preference of a home, and tell me a little bit about you as far as why do you feel like I should choose you?
Oh, that's a great question. And that's something I want to be sure to go over with both you and your husband, because y'all are the decision makers in this purchase. Now, a little bit about me. I've been in real estate for the past 4 years. I am with KW Montgomery, and we are the #1 company in the world. And we service more clients and sell more homes in the world than any other real estate company. And what that does for me as an agent is that gives me the ability to help assist you in the home buying process and sell if that comes to that. We have a lot of technology and a lot of support and resources, and I'd love to go deeper in that with you and your husband when we meet next week.
Okay. Well, I know right now things are a little different in real estate as far as with this pandemic going on, with you being able to show me houses and sellers allowing people to come in and out. How would we handle that?
So actually, the market in Montgomery is going pretty well. We actually, in the last 30 days, have had over 500 new listings, and we're seeing closings done every day, showings. Things are going under contract. And how that's happening is the realtors in our area are actually working really well together and communicating really clearly so that this is done safely. And what we will do is, opposed to the traditional way of showing homes and looking at things, some sellers may say that they would like us to do that virtually, and I have the ability to show you what that looks like. And then some people are sellers are allowing people to see their home using protective gear like gloves and face masks and booties, and I have all of that for you as a resource to use as we're looking at homes. We will be doing a lot of things virtually, but I'm set up here to make that as easy as possible on you all, and we will find you that home that you are looking for.
Oh, Katie, that's great. That was one of my concerns with the pandemic going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that's
Okay.
a valid concern, and I am here to help you. And anytime you have a question like that, I will let you know. And I'm happy to let you know what I'm doing here and how I can help serve you better. We are taking every measure and every precaution.
Oh, great, great.
All
Okay.
right. Well, Miss Vicki, thank you so much for calling in today, and I look forward to our appointment on Monday at 2. I will send you that calendar invite.
Thank you so much, Miss Katie.
All right. All right, guys. What'd y'all think about that?
That was great. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you gave her letting her know that you were in real estate for 4 years, me as being a newbie, should I tell people that I'm new, or should I just try to steer away from that?
You know,
I haven't been asked that question yet, but
yeah, it's your choice, and that's where you want to go into more of. And with me, I didn't state any personal stats because I'm not in production right now. So I brought it back to the company and the support and all of that. So, you know, once you have those personal stats, you want to be recognized for that and say, hey, last year I sold X amount of homes, blah, 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 in this area. Yet right now we're building that. So that's why we talked about that value proposition, and you guys sent me some awesome ones. That's when you'll say your value proposition. And then, you know, I didn't touch on the COVID thing, yet she brought that up, right? Care, compassion, common sense. Common sense led me to having all of these qualification questions with her as a buyer. Did I get a lot of information out of her by going through that in a conversational way versus, oh yeah, I'll be happy to show you that, right? Especially now.
yes,
You don't want to risk that now. So we set up a path, and she goes, oh, well, this person, it takes this very seriously, and she can help me out. And hopefully she was encouraged. And sometimes you'll find people don't know the answers to these questions. That's why you want to have a follow-up. You don't want to just have a phone call. You want to have a something where you see them face to face, whether that's virtual, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever. Then you can read somebody a little bit better and then get down to the home search. You just want to make sure that that's clear. And Shakira, back to I would lean on what you wrote as your value proposition that we created in Ignite, saying that to them. And then if they have any, questions, I know you, Shakira, just joined our productivity program. So you could say, what, if they go, oh, well, I'm not sure what I do. I am working under a phenomenal productivity coach in this program, and I'm in this, you can say you're in the session of Ignite, and we are learning, again, we've talked about this before, cutting edge real estate practices during these times that we're making sure we take every precaution. If you would like to speak with my coach, that's where Vicki comes in. Vicki can give you a little bit of validity. You don't want to just let them off the hook and go, okay. You want to fight a little bit for yourself. Yet if they're going, well, how many hundreds of homes have you sold? You can't say that. You don't want to lie. You just want to point them in a positive light of how you can bring them value. Make it about them and not about you.
And even if it came to it, Shakira, and you had to, say that you will be my first buyer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and I'm just going back to my first buyer. She was so excited that she was my first buyer. So some people are that's not a turn off,
right,
with everybody.
Don't let it be a limiting belief for you.
Right.
Don't put that on yourself.
Now, one of my customers, she knows she will be my first if we got her done first. And like you said, Ms. Vicki, she's excited. But I was wondering about those because she knew me, but I was wondering about those that didn't know me.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of working with your sphere.
Yes.
They already know, love, and trust you.
And it's some things that's going to happen that's going to cause you to learn a lot, because this will be the first time that it's ever happened with you. So it opened doors for you to ask a lot of questions.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
And you won't forget it the next time.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about. Oh, go ahead, Vicki. Are you there?
No, that wasn't me. I wasn't about to say anything.
Oh, okay. Your little thing lit up on my side. Okay. So now let's talk about the transition, the signing the buyer agreement. At that next appointment I have with them, I'm going to get them to sign that buyer agreement. And we've talked about this before. The buyer agency is the contract to change it from customer to client. The relationship changes. Okay.
Yes.
When she calls me on this lead sheet, she is a lead, a customer lead. She is not my client yet. Okay. It's important to know that, and it's important to be able to talk about that in a way that people understand it. So signing the buyer agreement. Finding the motivated is the first step into turning a warm lead into a closed client. By completing the buyer lead sheet, you're going to rate your people A, B, and C, and you should be able to determine when you can ask for their business. So when we set up that follow-up appointment, that's when I'm going to ask for their business. When are you ready to buy? That's what I asked her. When are you ready? Will tomorrow be good? Will Friday be good? Will Monday be good? You're setting that appointment. And you're also making sure, again, if Vicki was being a very good warm lead. She was being wonderful. She had a great price point and everything. You want to make sure that they are qualified. So if you speak to them today and you want to talk to them on Monday or Tuesday, you want to make sure to give it time. Don't say, oh, we'll talk tomorrow. You need to get them lined up with a lender ASAP. So if she were to have said to me, I don't have somebody, blah, blah, I would immediately, as soon as we get off the phone, send her someone to speak with. Okay. The importance of the buyer rep agreement, it makes sure that you're the client, right? NAR's 2019 Profile of Home Buyers and Sellers states that 20% of all buyers pre-qualified for a mortgage online, and only 11% found their mortgage lender online. This means that you can be a great resource. And again, we have Keller Mortgage in our back pocket. That is not to offend any local lenders. We love them. They're great for us. That's never going to go away. Yet if you can provide your people with savings and with a great experience, again, they're going to come back, and they're going to give you referrals. We have great tools. So we've got pieces of information and that you should be ready to use and familiarize yourself with those things like Keller Mortgage. And Tiffany, I think we talked about it a little bit, and then I shared the link for the resource in our Facebook group. So make sure that you're informed on all of that. It's a great way also to lead generate, because in Command Designs, they have some of those Keller Mortgage ads. So if you're going to share that, it's a great way to get leads. You need to research it and know what that means. So building those relationships. Is anybody here currently working with a buyer or ready to work with a buyer?
When you say working with buyer, do you mean already have a buyer's contract signed?
Are you getting ready to sign one? Do you have one, or are you getting ready to sign one?
Getting ready to sign one.
Okay, perfect. So you want to make sure.
I talked to them yesterday and sent it to them.
Yeah, you do want to make sure that as we're talking about the successful habits and setting the contracts and the agreement, that is one of the things you're aware of, how to explain that. And Shacarol, or any of you guys in the coaching program now, Vicki will take time and go over that stuff intensely with you and be able to walk you through and role play the conversation and know what someone's going to ask and how to explain it, right? You want to be able to have that conversation at a high level to get them to sign that agreement. And you want to be able to explain what it means.
And one thing I would like to, one thing,
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. One thing I would like to say, one thing me and Shakara discussed yesterday, sometimes you will have buyers or maybe even sellers that want to pre-read their agreements. And I think that is a great idea.
Yeah.
And you need to read it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So if anything they call you and ask you a question about, you're not stumbling over it. So when you read it and you need some explanation, you ask. So you can explain it to them with clarity.
Exactly. Clarity is power. And right now, guys, when we're not doing a lot of face-to-face meetings, you want to be able to send somebody a clean copy of the docs. They can take time to look at it and review it before you send the e-signature, because when you receive something in e-signature, it just pops up the signing boxes. You don't get an opportunity to really look through it, and you want to make sure that they're aware of what they're signing. And
right.
That's just a practice that I have when I use e-signatures, period. And I think that's something wise to do, because you want to, again, eliminate the possibility of frustration. All right.
Do we go over it first with them?
Yeah.
Or, okay, so you really
go over it, you have the conversation, and when you say,
okay,
hey, I'm going to send this to you, but I'm going to send you a blank copy first, or you can send them with their name and everything. You can fill it out, but without the signing blocks, as a PDF or a scan in or however it is, I'm going to email it to you so that you can just review it one more time. We've discussed it, and then you let me know if you have any questions or if you're ready to sign.
Gotcha. Okay. And another question, as far as like the date or how long you all plan to work together, is that, do you all have something in mind that's set, or do you just kind of let the client determine the span of the agreement?
Well, you're signing on the agreement, but you're going back to the motivation right? It's not a never ending buyer agency agreement, yet it kind of is. And you'll learn that I don't want to say it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it doesn't mean as much as a contract, right?
Okay.
You can have a buyer's agent's agreement without a contract all day, and you will. It's that next step and protective measure that, and part of our ethics oath, that we're not going to work with someone under agreement with somebody else, and their other realtors are not going to do the same thing. And that's why you want to make sure that that relationship goes from customer to client. It sets that expectation moving forward that we're doing business together. And you're not going to put a C person under buyer agency agreement. That's not going to do you any good. You need that A person. A all day. And that's why you're doing this lead sheet and you're determining their time frame.
Gotcha.
Right. You will work with people that are actively seeking and maybe moving to the area, in the next year or something. And so you're working with them. Again, our pipeline is so full, they're not the only person we're working with, because we still need to make money before next year. And you want to work with them too, but they're kind of in their own category. We don't want to just do an indefinite, okay, let's look at every home in the river region. We want to set the expectation of what they want, what they need, what they can afford, what we're going to get for them, what we're going to find for them.
Gotcha.
All right, let's talk about our ahas. How are you thinking? How are you feeling? What actions are you going to take?
Well, I must say, I think they're all the agents are asking some really great questions. So I feel my aha is kind of I'm just feeling good about where you all are going because of the questions that you're asking.
Yes. Very thoughtful questions.
My aha is that before today, looking at the questionnaire or pre-approval form sheet that we send to our ask our customers, is that our previous Ignite meetings have somewhat already prepared us for that. Because I know for me, yesterday talking to a new customer, I had asked every single question on there up to the lending part. And then when I found out she had not been pre-approved, I automatically sent her lenders. After talking to Ms. Vicky, I was like, Ms. Vicky, I need some lenders.
Yeah.
So I had sent her some lenders, so that's where we are today.
Perfect. The more we know about somebody, the better we are to be able to help them. And questions give you power. So the more questions you ask, don't be afraid to ask them. And you'll think of better questions the longer you go in it, right? The longer you're in it and the more conversations that you have, you're going to have more questions. This is a tool a lot of people don't necessarily use, and I think that's a disservice to them in their business. And any top producer, I'm talking top, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in production, they are doing this. Their team members are doing this. There is a system, and they're following the system and the model. And this is a tool that will help you grow your business. Want to remember, again, what you're doing on this sheet, these questions you're asking, it's coming back into your command contact profile, because that information is going to help you. And that is the tool to keep you going. All right, let's talk about our daily success habits. And then I've got 1 minute. We've got our business meeting starting in 10 minutes. So let's talk about our daily success habits a little bit. What are our daily success habits? Previously, the 10-4, the daily 10-4, we've doubled it up. What do we got now? How many contacts added every day? 20. How many conversations a day?
20.
How many handwritten notes or personal messages are we doing?
20.
How many homes are we previewing a week?
And
20, right? So we're doubling down on our efforts due to the shifting market. And guys, I'm just going to tell you that's going to accelerate you guys forward. And so dig in, work hard. Now is the time to see it, because in June or July, you're either going to get a paycheck or a bill. These activities are going to bring you a paycheck. If you spend an hour a day with me on this and you do the calls, you do whatever, that's not making you any money. The activity makes you the money. The knowledge you know to do, not know to know. It's all about the activity. So, and the goal of this is to get you guys in business and to get you started off on the right foot. I am going to wrap up now. I'm going to turn the recording off.